Cornerstore Caroline, Lakers versus Houston, Cardi B, J. Cole, and more on this week's Worldstar Weekly wrap-up.
Parental discretion is advised.
This might be the best part of the start. It's the concept of Worldstar has become such a ubiquitous word.
Yeah, well, it basically should be in the dictionary. There needs to be a new dictionary entry just for the Worldstar and its true meaning.
It is. It's a thing. Have you ever yelled Worldstar when something's happening?
No, but I've been like, yo, that needs to go Worldstar. But like, I don't like see something happening and be like, Worldstar. I'm like, oh my God, are you okay?
No, I don't say are you okay. I say Worldstar at all times.
It makes sense. And even in these videos we're going to look at, there are people shouting Worldstar in those videos as well. But welcome everybody to Worldstar Weekly. I think this is our 5th week of doing Worldstar Weekly, which is pretty cool. My name's Michael Patterson, and I've got a group of 2 panelists next to me.
That's right. My name's Tehran. If you don't know, now you know.
You just hit the desk so hard my mic went out. But I'm Abby Fraher, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, awesome. Welcome. We got some great videos today. We've got Cornerstore Caroline, kind of a part 2 of what we discussed last week. The Lakers and the Rockets faced off last night, literally in a sense. Cardi B's being crazy again. It's all over the place. So let's just go right on into it now. This video is called, I guess you could call it Cornerstore Caroline. It's kind of blowing up in social media. I'm sure you guys have probably at least seen the story of this woman in this corner store.
So let's cue up the video, because the video is actually, when you say the proof is in the pudding, thankfully, for the first time, this video was taken.
Oh, yeah.
So there is a young lady in a store, in a bodega store, who accuses a black child of sexually harassing her, calls the police, and the police come, and they then watch the video. So if we can play the video as we describe what's going on. Here you are, you have the security footage camera from the store, which is important.
Yeah.
Now, it's also important to note that the woman at the counter is a white woman. The kid walks past, and the woman looks because she has now decided that the child has grabbed her butt. She says something inappropriate. The mother responds, and then we see more action as everyone in the store is surprised by what's going on. There are several customers who are all also black in the back, and everyone's telling the mom to calm down and not worry about this lady. But of course, the mom, protecting her child, comes up and starts talking trash back to the woman because the woman has accused her son of grabbing her butt. That was the conversation. And the lady at the counter, who is now being dubbed Cornerstore Caroline.
Another great name.
I know, and these names come out of nowhere. And the thing is, we didn't even create the name on our own. The person getting the video took the name. Now you go from security footage to the footage of people taking video of her and expressing she needs to apologize, because what she had decided was sexual harassment. The kid grabbing her butt happened to be the kid's backpack, literally just brushing up against
her,
it.
right?
And that's it.
How old is the kid?
The kid is
9 years old.
9 years old.
That's so sad.
Yeah, and so that's kind of the big issue of this whole thing. I read an article about this situation specifically before coming on. So it was a 9-year-old boy. Obviously, that wasn't his intentions. It's clear as day in the video. Right. And the reason the mother took so much offense to this is because in the woman who called Cornerstore Caroline, she believed that she started to immediately make assumptions based on the race of the child and the mother, because she calls the police and says, you know, a black boy and a black woman are yelling at me and he assaulted me and I'm surrounded by a bunch of other, you know, black civilians. So I think that's why the mother,
like she's in a war zone or something.
That's what the way the mother tries to describe it, and it's really unfortunate. Because I just want to know from what you guys think, is this worse? How much worse is this compared to the video that we looked at last week with, I think, Apartment Patty?
I think they're equal.
I would say that it's this. This is worse, and I'll explain why it's worse. With Apartment Patty, a lot of people are really upset at her actions. She actually got fired from her job, and everyone was up in arms about what she did. When in essence, I don't know whether she did it because the person was black or because he was a man or because he was a stranger in the building. There are times where I don't open the door for people in my building, and especially if they're white and I know they live there. I don't open the door, right? But the truth is, let's be honest, you would want someone to be like, excuse me, do you live in this building? It's the way she did it that was inappropriate. It was aggressive, it was overt, and we're thinking that it's racially motivated. We later find out that she was married to a black man, which doesn't denote that she cannot be racist. You can be married to a black man, have black children. You can be black and still be racist against black people. That's not, because people are like, well, she was married to a black guy. No, her actions is what spoke, not what she did, not her intent, but the way she carried that intent out. That was the problem. And this situation, which is much worse, is because what we see with Cornerstore Caroline, very creative name, by the way. The alliteration is amazing. We see that she accuses a child.
Right.
And here's the dangerous thing. We've seen in the past when people, especially white people, call the police on black children, those black children end up dead. And that's why it's dangerous. It's scary. It's a scary situation. When you call the police on a situation and you have it and it's racially motivated, it becomes a very scary situation for black people. Now, is it scary because it happens all the time? Clearly, no. It does not happen all the time. That is a myth. That is the shark swimming in the ocean and sharks will get you myth, where it happens, maybe 5 times, 8 times a year, and everyone's so much more afraid of that. However, it does happen. And the difference is when it happens to your child, that's when you lose your world. And unfortunately, it happens a lot more than 8 times a year. And that's what the problem is. So it's because it's a child, because it's a conversation, because it's a clear situation where you don't just jump and accuse. You go, excuse me, ma'am, I don't mean to be rude, but your son did X, Y, Z. People don't realize that they need to be responsible for their actions.
Yeah.
You can't change the world, but you can always change yourself. And so many people are willing to change the world, and so few people are just willing to change themselves.
Right.
Let's talk not about the person who's a victim, because in both cases we also see that the person being accused was right. It doesn't matter how they acted because they were correct. The son never touched that woman's butt, and the guy lived in that apartment building.
Right.
So they're justified. Like, everyone's like, well, why didn't he just show the key fob? He lives in that building. He doesn't have to show the key fob. She called a bluff. She lost, and she paid the price. Cornerstore Caroline called a bluff, and she lost. Now she has to pay the price of being famous. Thank you, Cornerstore Caroline. None of us will ever forget your beautiful racist face. And she also thrust in their direction and was being very lewd and crude, and played the victim when it came to the telephone. She was the victim. She was the victim. It was his backpack. She apologized, but even her apology was reluctant.
Yeah, and at this point now, she's saying that she's receiving threatening calls from other people. So she's attempting to backpedal now, especially since this incident has gotten huge. I read that article on USA Today. They had the kid and his mom on Good Morning America not too long ago, because this incident happened less than a week ago, 5 days ago.
They were on Good Morning America?
I believe it was Good Morning America. It was a morning show.
I understand. Okay, so that's very important. That's like a amazingly...
Because this happened in New York as well. It happened in Brooklyn.
Huge, popular show.
Right.
So what we're going to do, Abigail, is we're going to have you stand outside. Okay? No, hear me out. You're going to stand outside. I'm going to walk by. My bathrobe is going to touch the bottom of your leg. You're going to call the cops.
Okay.
And say, I'm armed and dangerous.
And then I'll be a racist, and you'll be on Good Morning America?
Because I've been trying to get on these shows.
I'm just confused, though, really, why you felt the need to call the cops or something like that. Also, like...
Yeah, it just...
Do you know what I'm saying?
It
like you said, it's just a matter of it's a conversation. You just say, "Hey, I think
that's where I get lost, because
like,
what is your ultimate goal here? Are you trying to get him sent to prison? He's 9 years old.
Like, it just
I
no
don't,
thought process.
I don't know what the end goal is. Tehran, do you have any idea of what her thought process is? Because I really can't understand.
Yes, I do. It's called white people.
It's called white people.
It's called white people. So what happened is she felt entitled, and she's like, and that's the threat you always get. I'm going to call the police. I've actually been in situations where this has happened. There's been situations where I've seen, and it's not just, and look, and here's another myth, is that it's all white people. It is not. And I would like to say
letting us know that.
It's not all white people. It's actually, Abigail is included in that, but everyone else It is not. It is not. But the problem is, even if it's only 30% of white people in a country where we have 130, 140 million white people, that's a lot. That means that there's more white people doing this than there are black people in this country.
Yeah.
That's what people forget statistically, even if it's only 30%, because there are 70% that are just good people. They're like, I don't understand. Why is this? This is wrong. Like, there are people like yourselves who don't understand, but at least you're aware of it. But then there are people who don't feel like they do this, and then they're so unaware that they get upset when this is the call. Well, why? How do we not know? Why do we think she's racist? What was Apartment Patty doing wrong? What was? Well, that's the problem, right? They're just unaware. They're not around. Well, the concept is this happens when there's that mentality of the privileged, and when you have the privileged mentality, equality will always feel like oppression.
Damn, dropping the mic right there. I like that. Yeah, it's an unfortunate situation. And
they should get fined. Honestly, I remember Chris Rock had a thing about bullets.
Police's time with
100%.
bullshit. You don't think they have more important in New York City?
Kid,
You don't
someone
think
got murdered.
Exactly.
Someone got murdered
because of this.
But that kid's backpack, that was on the agenda. Someone got murdered. And I can understand why she felt afraid, but here's the thing about the video that the video didn't show you. If you look at all the continuation videos, a lot of people took their phones out. You see the black people in the video telling each other, don't let her upset you. Don't worry about it. And when she calls the police, they're like, we're going to stay and make sure that they know. Right. And they're not actually yelling at her or calling her names. They're actually saying, why are you doing this? Like, what do you think's going to happen? Same questions you just asked. That's what they're saying to her in a very conversational tone in a lot of ways. Like, why are you doing this? And there's a guy taking video, and that's where we get the name Cornerstore Caroline, is because the guy's like, hey, Cornerstore Caroline, look at Cornerstore Caroline, everybody. She called the cops. This boy, she said that little boy touched her butt. Nobody want to touch your butt. And of course, it's just having fun and being fun with it. But the truth of the matter is, there's nothing funny about calling the cops on children. There are children playing in the yard. There's, we're coming off a situation where someone shot a kid who was delivering a newspaper to their door. Come on, guys. This is ridiculous. All this hate and violence and just disdain for one another. It's unnecessary. It's unfortunate that common sense is just not as common as it should be.
Yeah, because I think the worst part about clips like these is that it seems like it's happening more frequently. It might just be because it's being reported more.
It's only because it's recorded. It's not happening more frequently at all. We're actually looking at the lowest numbers of, for example, police brutality, the lowest numbers of situations like this.
But because of social media.
Exactly. We exacerbate the situation because now all of us actually know about it. Right. I can only imagine if cell phones existed in the 60s, what they would, how many dog attacks would be on WorldStar right now? How many hosings? Like, that was horrible. So we've come a long way, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a long way left for us to go.
And true that. And on that note, we're going to go right in onto the next clip. A lot of people were watching the Lakers game last night for LeBron's homecoming in Los Angeles, and in my opinion, they got much more of a show than I think they were expecting, and we're going to take a look at this clip.
Not only was it a really good game, but this shows you, okay, so we see Harden go for a layup and get fouled. We get fouled. Now, that's Ingram pushing Harden, what seems like for no reason.
Gets in the ref's face.
He probably said something.
Lance Stevenson comes in, but words, sticks, and stones will break my bones.
I know, but I love a good sports fight.
Break my heart. Especially
hot men.
This one was a real fight. Now, what we're seeing there is the backside of Chris Paul and Rondo getting into it. Chris Paul puts his hand in Rondo's face and pushes it, which is possibly the most disrespectful thing you could ever do to someone.
Aside from spitting on them.
Well, and that's what Chris Paul said, Rondo spit on me.
Yeah.
And
if you look at a different angle, we actually do see that Rondo did spit on Chris Paul.
I saw one of my one of the people on Instagram I followed, they did this thing where it kept zooming up clip after clip, and you fully see him go and it's disgusting.
Spitting on someone is actually extremely disrespectful. And now we see Ingram. See, the reason why Ingram is in the wrong is because he comes out of nowhere. Now? LeBron's actually
he's in the back.
He's in the back. He's doing the right thing.
He's back with Lonzo.
He's staying right there. See, you are the senior person on the team. Look, he holds he holds the players back.
And that's why I think this situation is hilarious, because Lonzo Ball, I believe it was last season, was criticized very heavily for not coming and backing his team up in a fight like this. And he was quoted saying something along the lines of, well, I mean, why do I need to get involved? They're not going to hit each other anyway. And it's just so ironic that their first game at home this season,
but
punches get thrown.
What he's thinking is, why should I get involved and
No,
get
I-
suspended
And
and
get
hurt the
fined
team?
and- yeah,
Hurt the
exactly.
team in the long run.
No,
This
I
is-
100% agree. I just think
because-
it's a little ironic. I mean, because LeBron,
testosterone goes up in a high level.
especially when these guys have history.
There's
And
a lot of history between these teams. Chris Paul has turned into a gangster. Ever since Chris Paul has done some gangster things in the last couple years.
Chris Paul's like the sweetest human being.
It's like
He seems
I'm
like it on
sorry,
those
I
commercials, on those
no,
insurance
in
commercials.
person too. He hosted the Nickelodeon Sports Awards this year. Like a nice guy. I mean, of course he's like with his kids and stuff,
Well, yeah.
but like.
Sure, he's with his kids, and then backstage he's like, "This is how you act." Yeah, I mean,
I like
Chris
him.
Paul's a nice guy. He's a
He
nice
got
guy.
spit on. What would you do if someone spit on you?
I mean,
What would you
look,
do? Seriously.
Here's the thing.
And your ego's all like, and you're playing, and your testosterone levels are up, and like you're just.
And you're losing at home.
I'm an adult.
I think that
I'm
was
aware of
self-control.
consequences. I'm aware of things, especially if I was getting paid millions of dollars. And to be honest, I've been in situations where people have acted inappropriate to me, especially in basketball.
Yeah.
And I've handled it even worse. I am
Oh, okay.
the
I was
worst
like,
person on the
so
planet.
you're a better person.
Better person. Listen, if you spit on me, be prepared to die. Like now we're having, that's not even a conversation. Now we're not talking basketball no more. There's a difference between I said it was out and you said it was in. There's a difference between once you
That and
cross the
spitting on
line
the
of
person,
the FUs and the MFs and the you're a this and you're a that. Now we're past conversation.
Do you think there were like conversations afterwards in the locker room? Like, do you think LeBron was like pissed?
No, I think LeBron was honest. To be very honest, I think LeBron was proud of the fire in his team.
I think he was probably uninvolved. I mean,
And
I'm sure he
afterwards,
said something.
No, LeBron's. I don't care what anyone says. LeBron's never uninvolved. Like physically, yes,
No.
but I'm saying like afterwards. Like, do you think he was like, bro, what the fuck?
No,
like,
he
why
did-
would
he
you
didn't-
spit on him or
He
like?
didn't, no,
don't-
he knows his team. What Rondo did was wrong.
Yeah.
However, the way his team reacted, he was like, it was maybe a bit much, but that's the kind of stuff that brings your team together.
Yeah.
It really does. And so starting a season off 0-2, this might be the ignition that they need. Do it for Ingram, Let's do it. Now you know your team members have your back.
Well, especially since there's been some suspensions handing down because of this. About 30 minutes ago from now, SportsCenter reported that Brandon Ingram is suspended 4 games, Rajon Rondo's suspended for 3 games, and Chris Paul got suspended for 2 games because of the incident.
Not as bad as I thought, to be honest.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought Ingram was going to be suspended 5 games. I thought Rondo was going to be suspended 5 games at least.
Right.
Spitting is very bad.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
And I
why
thought
he
Chris
got
Paul
less
was
of
gonna
a.
be-
He got less of a.
No, I mean, because there was an incident, because I watch a lot of soccer. There was an incident.
Of course you do.
What is that supposed to mean? Soccer is an international,
It is.
worldwide sport.
I love soccer.
Okay.
LAFC is playing right now.
That's
but anyway.
fine. Miguelito, please continue.
Anyway, well, there was an incident with spitting on the field, and
Yeah.
he was suspended for months.
Yeah.
Because of this incident.
Because that especially in the rest of the world, spitting
Yeah.
is
So
is
offensive.
such an offensive gesture.
Well, and we're going to see in some of these other videos that we're going to look at in a minute, there are certain levels of escalation that lead up to fights, and I think spitting is one of the worst. Like, that is just something you can never do. I mean, you shouldn't try to provoke anybody in a fight anyway.
What sport do you guys feel is like the least aggressive with stuff like this? Like they just kind of let it slide. Like, do you think that
Like
that
with fighting?
football's more
water
lax, or
polo.
do you think?
I feel like water
Okay, I'm
polo.
done
Bro,
with
don't
you
go
right
there.
now.
I play water polo. I played
you
water
really
polo.
feel like
that
water
sport's
polo-
violent.
I mean, where are you going to spit? You're in a pool. You know
No,
what I'm
but
saying? Like,
but what I'm saying, I guess, is like
you have to
with-
swim
with-
over to.
no,
Have you
but
ever
like
tried to
with
hit
this
someone in the water? It's so like.
do you, I feel like soccer is predominantly they do have harder penalties, and I think you see that typically. But I feel like what do you think?
Also, in
Football
soccer,
or
you get
basketball?
hurt more. If
Right.
someone hits you, you can break a leg. You can cause permanent damage.
Yeah.
I think the most fights occur in hockey.
Right? But where's the level of like
Professionalism.
yeah, or with like suspensions and stuff? What sport do you feel like gives those out like more frequently? They have a lower tolerance policy.
I would say the NFL gives out a ton of suspensions, but they're not very strong. Because if you look at some of the guys
Like
in
for
the
spitting
league,
on the field, would someone get
Spitting on the field? No, everyone spits
Like
on
at
the field.
someone.
But spitting
No, but
at
that's what I'm
someone
saying.
on the field, I feel like you would never get suspended for 5 games in the NFL because that's
there's
the season.
so many. Right.
There's so many less.
So they would just
you're
fine the
looking at
shit out of you,
180
probably?
games, and so
Right.
No, because that's the problem. Like Vontez Burfict, and I'm trying to, the other guy's name I can't remember. He's another lineman. Like there are video
Abigail,
proof.
what's the other guy's name? The other lineman.
there's video proof of these
I'm with
guys
you.
stepping on other people,
Sure.
taking really bad cheap shots, and they're
I
fine.
want to call the guy. Listen, I know it's wrong. I want to call him Netanyahu. That's not his name. The Sue Kamananagu. Yeah,
Oh,
that guy.
Nadema Su.
There
Yes,
you
that's
go.
who he is.
See how
yes.
close?
I'm
Because
done.
I know that guy's name because he's done such terrible things to these players. And I mean, Vontez Burfict, I bring him up specifically because he just got
Cleaning
fined
people?
like $150,000. But that's like his 5th time getting caught for this kind of stuff. And Nadema Su, I mean, has kicked people in the groin, these kinds of things, and he's still able to play in this league.
But basketball, NBA has gotten much better
Different,
than there was the bad boy era of the Pistons. There used to be strong fouls and fights. I mean, every game. Let's not forget the Ron Artest situation. This is not the first time the Lakers have gone to war, and that was when they started beating up fans. Okay? It's crazy. But then again, also there's a lot of testosterone. There's a lot of flare up, and there's a lot. Look, when it comes to basketball, and this is something that I feel a lot of people may not understand. In guy world, okay? And this is guy world. This isn't man world. This isn't male world. This is guy world. Guy bros that...
Trademark.
There are times where you have to hit someone in the face so that you don't...
Have anything happen in the future.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like,
and
I'll mess you up.
you'd rather get kicked out than be called a bitch for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen that actually happen with players as well. So
Lonzo Ball being one of them.
It happens, and it's something where we have to be cognizant of. And there's times where I'm not even that mad about something, but I have to act mad because if I don't, I know how everyone else is going to react to it. So in basketball, I just have
Gotta be a man. Gotta be a guy.
Got to be a guy, and it's part of that male ego and
I don't even
toxicity.
think it's
Toxic
necessarily
masculinity.
male. I think it's just the adrenaline rush. Because I mean, females get. I mean, maybe the fights are a little funnier to watch. But like, I played rugby. I cleated girls in the face. Like, you know what I mean?
But that's different.
As
That's different because as men, we're fighting for that reputation. Women are just violent, vicious creatures
People,
when given.
maybe, I don't know.
Given
Given the opportunity, like, you can find somebody out there.
Female lacrosse.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
guys
With
are
the sticks.
crazy.
Yes.
Like this is just it's
Female
brutal.
lacrosse? They don't have contact in female lacrosse.
Do they?
Oh, when they
No?
fight, they do.
They do.
Do they fight? I don't know because it's not on
Yes.
TV. I
Wait
don't say I
till the
watch it.
softball team.
No, because
gets into a fight.
I will say every time I've played sports with women, they're always way more aggressive. Way more aggressive than
Why
the
are
guys
you
that I
playing
play
women's
with.
sports?
You're like
You're just trying to catch me up
No,
today.
I am.
That's what
There's a
this
lot
is.
of there's
Yeah.
a lot of contact. I'm telling you, like even women's softball, there's a lot of contact on and off the court.
You're done. We're done. We're
Yeah,
moving
this
ahead.
is it. Moving
to the next clip.
moving ahead. The BET Awards happened recently, and Cardi B was able to perform at this event, and we're gonna look at some clips of her performance.
Well, she was the highlight of the performance. So here she is. She's performing a song, and if we can hit play and just let it drop.
Please.
So you see the dancers, the slide to the left. Everybody goes to the left. Ooh, slide to the right. And then we see the dip.
Drop
We
it.
see the drop it. Look, girls love Cardi B. I was at an event with her on Monday, and man, when I say everybody she's just a star.
But she's also relatable.
Yeah.
Which I think
and
is what-
and she talks about it, and she talks about it very realistically. There, it just becomes explosive. The smoke, the beat drops, and it just and everyone goes crazy. And you know what? I'll be honest, Cardi, I've been waiting my whole life to shit on niggas too, bro. Like that's my whole life. So, and I understand how you feel. And she goes crazy. And if you fast forward, the video, if we fast forward the video to a little, this is the one that goes. This is Fontaine. Look, okay, Cardi. It switches the song, and she's just putting moves down. She's making me want to be a stripper. Like, she drops it, and here's the thing. she's just, I don't know if it's a natural twerking sensation, but this is where we're at with entertainment, where she's just literally jiggling, and she's rapping though. So now she's just on her knees, twerking her butt.
She's just giving it to the floor.
Backing it up. but oh, look at the jiggle. Look at the, oh my. Like, this was
Do we have a fan in here for Tehran? He's like, you okay?
I gotta say, your commentary on women twerking is the funniest thing. With Ruby Rose the other weekend too, is the same thing.
I'm helping you out, and I'm helping everyone
for
out.
For all of those people listening, not watching, you know when it jiggles. Tehran's gonna let you know.
You know what the thing is? It's an art form. Good for you.
It's like
Cardi.
a ripple.
No, and it's also, you know what? You know what? Forget it. I'm gonna be real. It's because not enough girls know how to do that, and when it's the right time. Okay, I'm gonna just be honest.
We're not gonna do that.
We're gonna have a conversation. We're gonna have a conversation. Some, you know, how times you gotta be like, put your back down. Let's. If we're
and
doing
the
this,
misogyny comes out.
We're gonna do it properly.
This is a real Tehran.
There's no misogyny.
Yes, there
this is between me and a willing consensual partner. Okay, and we're having a conversation, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this right. That's all I'm saying. And Cardi B clearly knows how to do it right, and Offset must agree. I've seen them together a lot recently, and they're just it's great. It's great for hip hop. It's exciting. It's fun. There's nothing really different. People are like calling her names. There's nothing really different from what she's done than what Madonna has done many times in the past, except she did it better. That's it.
Yeah, well, I think
with rhythm. I didn't understand. I thought we were just watching this because it was dope. People are complaining about it.
A lot of people.
People are always complaining.
Upset.
I feel like it's just people that are easily offended, or people. I feel like people get offended a lot of times with physical things because it's jealousy rather than actually being offended. Like, you can't do that, or Madonna like making out with Britney is offensive, or like Kim Kardashian's posts are offensive, and people are like, you have kids, and it's like.
Sure. Like, someone's always gonna find an issue, because I will say I'm not really a fan of Cardi B personally. Yeah. She's an amazing performer, and I think
don't like twerk and big butts. Bro.
Honestly, though, this was nothing compared to like Nicki at what award show was it when she like literally put her legs straight up in the air.
Yeah. In the air.
And she was in her largest state, so she couldn't really move like Cardi. She really wasn't capable of
100%.
doing anything other than laying. But she just put her leg up, and it was like open vagina, and nobody said anything about that.
The concept is, I feel like people are more critical of women of color than they are of anyone else. And if you don't believe me, let's remember Nipplegate, which is Janet Jackson's nipple being exposed for half of a second, and she had to leave the country for an extended period of time at that point. And on the flip side, if that was Gwyneth Paltrow's nipple, we'd applaud and she'd get an Oscar. Oh my gosh, you acted like you had a nipple, and we would just.
I feel like too, like nips coming out are like everyone's getting way more comfortable in the last like 3 years, to be completely honest. Like Rihanna, you know, even like.
It's a nipple.
Well, that's what I never understood that. Like, or people are like, I could see your nipple through your shirt. Like,
no
we all have
worried about guy nipples.
Right,
and that's what I was gonna say, is that you mentioned this is no different than what Madonna's doing. This is just the next step in what cultural is deeming is pushing the envelope. Because nowadays, doing what Madonna does is not pushing the envelope anymore. And it's the same thing with female nipples as well. 5 years ago, it was a huge deal, and it's still kind of a huge deal to people now. People I think, are just always going to find an issue with sexuality, and I think a lot more people have issues when it comes from a woman being sexual on stage 100%. Than it is a man, because it's
you guys can grab your junk all day and it's chill.
Yeah,
I don't know if I could grab my junk in a bathrobe at an elementary school.
Well, no, but like I'm talking about on like I'm done with you. Like rappers are, everyone people do that all the time.
It's the same kind of content. I feel like male and female rappers almost rap about the same thing. It's just a little different because of their.
My question for you guys is like when they're doing editing, like on Instagram and stuff, it's like, you can't like the actual nipples edit it out. I don't understand the butt crack. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? So like
when the butt crack is.
So like when the butt is like on Instagram, like people have to like, you have to block out, I guess, like
a part
where
of
the
crack?
Hole would be, or the bottom of the butt crack.
I've never seen that. I need to follow these accounts.
You need to, but that's okay. I'm done.
I do understand. I've never understood why they put like a little like
a smiley face or something.
Not
or
a smiley face, when they just like kind of blur it out.
Yeah, they smudge it.
Like an emoji. That's even weirder. we need to understand the nipple isn't that big a deal. Sexuality, the more you try to demonize it, the worse it'll be. So it's crazy.
And that's why she's popular.
Yeah.
Because it's a way for people to rebel against status quo. It was the same thing.
100%.
It was the same thing with hard rock, in the 60s and 70s. It was different. It was rebelling against the status quo.
I'm just a little concerned where we're going to be in 30 years with pushing that.
It's
envelope,
just
to
you're
be
gonna start
honest.
BET Awards. They're just having sex.
on stage.
It's like,
right.
yo, my new song "Orgy's" about to drop. Orgy.
The thing is, you joke, but who knows?
No,
Who
but
knows?
seriously.
I mean, there is going to be a time where you turn on the radio and it's going to be like, WKYZ, the golden oldies, playing the best of 2000, 2010s. Remember the good old days when all you wanted for your birthday was a big booty hoe? Let's play some 2 Chainz. That's going to happen in our lifetime. So BHL fans, Black Hollywood Live is the first urban digital broadcast network in existence. Since inception, BHL has prided itself on creating outstanding content in all areas, from news, music, and politics to lifestyle and entertainment. We've not only given voice to the often underserved Black Latino community, we've also provided new hosts with the dopest platform to exercise their talents. And that's not all. BHL has done the same for many of Hollywood's A-list, including Oprah Winfrey, whom has made multiple BHL appearances and given us several shout-outs. Oprah, I'm still waiting for mine. Now, the Black Hollywood Live Network needs your help. You're wondering how? How can you do that? By subscribing to our YouTube channel. That's how. Subscribing to our YouTube channel will also help you find new shows we're sure you'll love. And if you're worried about annoying notifications, don't be. They're optional. So hit that subscribe button now. It's easy and helps us continue our work. Let us know you did in the comments below. And we love hearing from you, and we'll show you love on air. Thanks for being supportive fans to BHL, helping us take the network to the next level and continue to redefine Hollywood. Thank
Awesome.
you all.
Yep, we definitely appreciate the support. Moving on now. this video is my favorite. I've never made a music video before. I can imagine it's pretty difficult. This guy in particular, I think, took it to the next level.
He's
with,
done this
with
before,
content.
by the way. So he's getting arrested, and as he's getting arrested and getting taken into jail, like he's being processed, he has his boy filming him, and he's rapping the lyrics to his song so he can use it in his video.
Do you think he got arrested to have this happen?
No, I don't know, but he's been arrested and rapped for the video before.
Let's see it.
He's rapping. The police officer's actually being kind of nice about it.
Right? He probably did something like goofy, like a minor thing.
Sure.
He's just gonna spend the night.
Yeah, it's like driving on a suspended license or something.
Right.
I mean, and look, and that's a good friend.
That's awesome.
That's a good friend, and that's content, and it's also one thing I really enjoy about this is how stupid you are. Why are you getting arrested, bro? Honestly, this is what we're more worried about, is that people are so much more worried about the gram and WorldStar than they are about their actual lives.
Right.
I don't
about
know.
their record, really. It's
I get it though. I mean, I don't get getting arrested, but I mean, that guy, seeing that stunt, I want to listen to that guy's music.
But
now.
that's true. I mean, I can
agree.
understand
It's
if that's
doing things
your branding,
for him.
your processing.
But I mean, I hope it's for something small that will go away in 2 years off your record or whatever. But
there was the rapper Tay-K, and he had a song called "The Race."
Man, Tay-K, that guy's wild.
I did the race. Well, it turns out he was actually running from the cops when he was doing
while
that
he
song.
recorded that song.
And that's how they found him, by the way. And they brought him back, and he's in jail for murder.
He's going away for a long time.
Yeah.
But that
16-year-old kid.
That song is, it's one of the situations where it's funny, but it's not funny. I'm sure he's probably it's probably something minor.
If it was something aggressive, I feel like his friend probably wouldn't be there. He's like,
well, because obviously he's gonna get out. He's got his music video.
You don't know that. I've seen so many people that are like, man, free Molly Mall. What Molly Mall? Rape, murder, 2 counts of extortion, killed a nun. Free him. Like, he should be locked up. Let's talk about how
not promote this guy's career.
Ray should be in jail. Like, let's be real.
Well, staying on the topic of jail and breaking the law, this next clip that we're going to look at, don't really know the circumstances around it, but a man was getting kicked out of a hotel for allegedly losing
$12,000.
12 grand at a hotel, the Tropicana, I believe in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Gambling debt, and he's getting thrown out, and it was a whole scene, as we're going to see.
So we see him getting kicked out because he made a scene with the money, and he refused to leave and refused to let them take his money. So they're literally kicking him out of the hotel, and
just throw him out.
And they try not to be rough, but they have to push him off the property.
$12,000.
Sure, but that could be his rent, that could be his mortgage, that could be He just lost his life.
I just don't understand. Like, why are they throwing him out? Because he didn't pay the money?
No, he refused to get. He
right?
just made a huge scene
Okay.
in the
To me,
casino.
is he lost and kind
And
of just
then
tried
made
to.
a scene.
Yeah, and I'm
Okay.
sure this guy's probably
Wasted.
blacked out.
Yeah, what the F is this? I lost what? No, what? This is bullshit. We've all been there in Vegas.
Have we?
Because see, the part I don't. This
This is stirring up some memories for you.
this is another one of those situations where it's like, what does this guy think he's gonna do? It's him versus 15 other
Right.
people at this point. Like the
100%.
whole entire staff of the hotel is out there trying to kick
The
this
whole
guy
staff,
out.
but that's because they're trying to do it also carefully. Also, there's not that much excitement at a casino normally.
Right.
When it comes to
That's-
things, there's a couple. When
Everyone's
it even
like,
comes to
"Mom,
cheaters,
Mom, did you see that?
sure. When it comes to cheating, especially now with technology, it's very mundane. So for something to happen, usually it's just like, oh, you're kicking some drunk person out. There's not usually a time where someone's actually that flabbergasted about losing as you're gambling. So
I don't know. This is just another one of those videos that's just stupid. It's like, what are you doing, man? That's the thing.
Getting out
Yo, have you ever
WorldStar,
lost
he's gonna-
$12,000?
No, because
Then
I'm
you
not
don't know
stupid
it.
enough to
No,
gamble
man.
away $12,000.
You know, sometimes it becomes addicting. Sometimes
He's on
That's
WorldStar
true.
now in his hometown. Maybe he can go to the local club and get paid $100
And he's
for
and
like
he's
going
fam-
for the
yeah,
night.
he's
you know,
famous
he's
now.
gonna bring
He's
that
not
money
allowed
back.
back in the clubs and the casinos. I'll tell you that.
No.
That fixed his problem real quick.
Yeah, I want to see more. I want to see more of this guy. But that's all we got. Next up, we've got an interesting situation in a club where a woman appears to be upset with a man in the club, and she appears to hit him, and there's a very interesting situation that unfolds after that.
Apparently, she bumped into him, and he didn't say excuse me. She had a lot of attitude about it, and she turns around. Let's hit play so we can
She
see
bumped
we're
into
in the
him?
club. That's what they're saying. And then she turned around and he said something to her, so she turned around and started hitting him in the face. He separated. She continues to speak on it, but then this is where it gets tricky because the guy sees the girl and then just comes over there, and as she keeps hitting him, he just clocks her right in the face. Right in the face, and of course everyone is going crazy, and then he starts to look like he's lunging at her to try to attack, and that's the end of the video.
Which begs the question, is it okay for that guy to hit her?
No.
No?
And I'll say no, and I'll say this because as a grown man, this isn't basketball. This is a situation where you cannot win.
Yep.
So unless she's a ninja and she's a trained killer and she has a knife or something that's putting you in moral danger, you know what made him hit her? His ego. He stood there. Walk away. I've learned in life you can always walk away from fights, and it makes life really
You've
easy.
learned not to hit women.
I don't even raise my voice to women. Like I've never actually had a situation where I've even yelled at a woman or a situation. Most of the time, to be honest, they're right about whatever I did wrong. So I'm just like, yeah, you're right.
okay.
The most I'll say is like, you're right, but I just don't care. But I understand what you're saying because they'll be like, you don't understand. I'll be like, no, I do.
I just don't care.
I don't care, but you're correct. You are correct. I am wrong. I've done X, Y, Z, but I just think it's inappropriate behavior. I never.
What if
I could never justify.
What if instead
hitting a
of hitting
woman.
her, he threw a drink at her? Would that be okay?
How about walk away? Walking away is the only thing.
Sure.
Walking away. You might have some slick things to say. I'm a slick talker, so I'll say slick things, but slick things and overly aggressive things like we saw last week with the guy in the store, I don't find that okay. You just don't assault her. Just walk away. Walk away. You can walk. Run. If you have to, run and walk away. No one's gonna be like, man, I can't believe you didn't stand up and punch that woman in the face. Like this is time gender equality, but chivalry is still a thing.
Right. But see, and that's where I feel like I'm a little torn.
You and Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg also says it's like, yo, if you put your hands on a man, be prepared for that man to put hands on you.
And I'm not saying that it's okay, but when I think it's a hard concept for me to even have a point or I don't really know. I'm kind of in between. But if us as females want equality, like it needs to be equal.
No.
Fully. So you don't see a problem with her.
You can have equal importance, but you can still have respect. And
I
you can
agree,
have
but she didn't have
chivalry,
respect for him.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
And I understand she did it.
Okay.
You don't have to do that. It's hard to change the world.
Right.
Easy to change yourself.
I get that.
Walk away.
I'm not saying it was right. I'm just
You know,
I'm
you know how many
torn.
times I've
I'm a
walked
little
away
torn.
from not hitting you?
But-
So many times. Like,
you know,
and I just
seriously,
walk
like-
away.
Okay.
Abigail!
I'm just gonna walk,
Walk away.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's different if you Ricky Ricardo it, where Lucy, but you actually never touch them, or at least not have the intent. That's how it starts. That guy, and once you have that, there takes a certain amount of heartlessness to just punch a woman in the face that hard. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
because
just heartless.
that's not even like a man
No,
like get
no,
away.
that
That's
wasn't
like
like that. That was
that's
like
a
I want to
malicious
like
hit.
hurt
He
you.
punched.
Right.
He punched her in the.
I'm not saying it was okay. I just feel like everyone should just keep their fucking hands to themselves.
Unless
Like,
that's
just
what
keep
you
your
get
hands
off
to
on,
yourself.
and then who
I
am I to
mean,
judge?
if that's,
You want to get punched in the back of the neck?
All right, that's another
None of my.
topic.
None of my
I think
problem.
it's just one of those situations where it's like, is it okay in this situation? Is it okay all the time, or is this situation make it okay? You know, because there's other videos I've seen where women are full on assaulting people, like trying to hurt him.
Men are like subject to being beat by their wives. Like that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Sure, it
That's
does,
not
and-
recorded.
And it needs to be reported,
And
and that's the
men-
problem.
men are embarrassed.
How about we do this rule where we all keep our hands to
right,
ourselves?
and I agree with you.
Let's
I
keep
agree
our
with
hands.
you on
You know how
that.
many problems in
I
the
agree
world would
with
be
you.
solved if we just kept our hands to ourselves? I also don't think it's appropriate when people go and knock off people's MAGA hats or tear up people's
Right, don't touch
anti-abortion or
stuff, right.
pro-abortion.
No, I
Just
agree.
don't. Just if you have something to say
Say it.
But don't spray
act
it.
it.
You know, I don't know. Can we please end on a good
We're gonna
note?
end up.
let's
We're gonna
go
end up
there.
something positive. Rapper J. Cole had a very inspirational speech the other day, and we're gonna listen to some of that right here.
And this is J. Cole. He's performing, and it's a sold-out show. And what I appreciate is that so many rappers talk trash and act like this happened overnight. I don't even like rapping. I never did anything. I just showed up one day. I was selling crack, and now I'm richer because I rap about it. But J. Cole says the truth on this video, and I hope everyone who inspires to be anyone listens to this.
Arenas, you crazy? Hell no, that wouldn't make sense. At that time, we was doing clubs, you know what I mean? We was in the clubs, just trying to fill up clubs.
J. Cole on
You got a
stage.
dream. You be thinking about this dream
Image
all
behind
the
him.
fucking time. You can't wait till this shit finally appear in your life. You can't wait. That's all you think about every time you go to sleep. This shit be on your mind. You can't wait to manifest. Manifestation, that's your favorite word. I can't wait to manifest this shit. But some days you get a little down, a little disappointed, a little discouraged, a little frustrated, because you like, fuck, this shit just ain't happening fast enough, this shit not coming fast enough.
understand
Is it
how
ever
that
gonna
feels.
come? You get depressed. I'm gonna tell you like this, Montreal, if this message applies to you, listen to me when I tell you this. Do not fucking stop. Whatever you do, don't quit, don't stop, don't give up. That'll be your
Chills.
worst mistake.
Chills. Don't stop.
You'll regret that shit forever.
You'll regret that shit forever. There's a
It's not
homeless guy
no
right now
overnight. This is a step-by-step
You're done.
process. You gotta put one foot in front of the other.
who
That's how
didn't
this
stop.
shit works.
But you know what?
With nothing in life, you can't go from 0 to 100. Nothing in life works like that.
Unless you're Drake. Real
If
quick.
somebody in this room,
Nothing
here-
about Drake's life was real quick either, though.
The 0 to 100.
I
you know
understood,
and
but
as
I
soon
mean,
as they snap their fingers,
he did
you
that on
wake up
purpose.
Tomorrow morning, everything you ever wanted in this whole world is gonna be there when you wake up. I'm gonna tell you like this, Montreal. Even if somebody can do that, you don't want it like that. Trust me.
I do,
You do not
but
want it like
I
that.
understand what J. Cole means.
Gotta be ready for it.
Chill. Cause I see a nigga looking at me right now like, she. How the fuck J. Cole gonna tell me I'm on the wrong one like that? This is why I say that. If you go directly from 0 to 100, you don't realize that you're doing it, but this is what you're doing to yourself. You're robbing yourself of the journey. You know what I mean? That's where all
That's
the
a real
magical
thing,
shit
the
happens.
journey.
The experience. That's where all the beautiful shit comes from. It's in the journey. It's not the destination. It's on the way there. I think I'm at 88 right now. I want to take y'all to when I was at 53. When I was at 53, Montreal, it was a lot of talk and conversation happening on the Twitters.
People don't realize how long J. Cole's been in the game.
Right.
I remember meeting J. Cole in 2009 on the come up in New York. He was in New York at that time, living in some apartment above like a store or something like that, just working hard. And that's the thing a lot of people don't realize is how much work it takes to be successful. But I am extremely impressed and happy that J. Cole gave that message out
Right.
to everybody. And It's all about the journey and the destination, but we have come to the end of our destination.
Which is unfortunate because I feel like I could watch that guy talk all day. I mean, he's
Good
great.
for you. You can watch him talk all day. Right?
We'll do, but I'll do it after this. I'll prove it. I'll prove it to you. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we got for today. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Worldstar Weekly. I'm your host, Michael Patterson. You can find me on Twitter at MikePatNews. That's MikePattnews. Abby, where can we find you?
Thanks, guys, for joining us on our journey. We hope you come back next week. And you can find me on all social media at Abigail_AF.
See how I was about to walk away? See how I was about to walk away?
Yep, you were ready. I saw your fist was clenched. She was
My
ready.
name is Tehran, and I am Tehran all across the social atmosphere. Find me on a bunch of AfterBuzz and BHL shows. Also at the Laugh Factory every Monday and Thursday at 10. Appreciate you for being here each and every week as we wrap up all the WorldStar greatest hits, literally, each and every week on WorldStar Weekly.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next week.
From executives Keven Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in. The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.